3 to 4 weeks since my last video here, and I kind of figured, seeing as how the date is, what is today's date? I got my phone handy here. July 12th, Sunday. You know, this being the Sunday that the Snowpiercer season finale airs tonight on TNT. I kind of figured real quick I'd put together a bit of an update video on my Icebreaker project here, and also discuss a couple of changes that I might be making to my channel, you know, later on down the line. All puns intended. So, with the subject at hand, on the bulletin here first, being the Icebreaker, I have been putting together a bit of an interior on this the past couple of weeks. Now, the disappointing thing may be the fact that I haven't gotten as much interior on this done as most people would hope. I only really have the engine and 2 cars. And the reason for that being is because I've been kind of getting burnt out on Minecraft, if I had to be brutally honest, and also on top of that, I've been back in work now since the COVID crisis. Our workplace has opened back up, and since our orders and stuff that we do is so far behind since the shutdown, we are now working 6 days a week now. Working Monday through Saturday, and only getting Sundays off. So I don't really have nearly as much time to do stuff as far as video games or anything really throughout the week, and I only got the 1 Sundays off to do something, so I kind of figured I'd take the time that I have now and put together this for you. So, snow real quick before I continue on with this. Not time, I want weather. Clear. So, let's take a look at the interior, shall we? Now, like I said, I've only got the engine and the 2 cars. This white blank car I'll have to explain later on. But, let me hop on this side real quick. Now, before I jump inside this car here, this car is kind of a custom design that I had to make up my own interior for. I think my joystick's screwing up because the camera keeps jittering. I'm pretty sure I'm not the only one seeing that. But, yeah, so this is a custom car that I had to put together because we only really see just a handful of cars in the overall train as far as a TV series goes, because that's where I've been taking my references from, is the TV series, to kind of get the interior of the Icebreaker to be a lot more resemblant to the... Yeah, my Icebreaker model be more resemblant to the TV series. So, this first car here, I took the initial inspiration from the intro sequence of the series on episode 1, where we see everybody boarding the train. And seeing as how there was like a handful of lines like every other car, it gave me the initial thought that there was probably cars that were dedicated to being like boarding terminals for the train, like primarily like here where this would be like the first class boarding terminal. Damn cave noise, that actually kind of spooked me there. Now what was I saying? Okay, so yeah, this being a custom car and this being first class, I was kind of going with like a hotel lobby-esque kind of aesthetic. Now, I am kind of somewhat disappointed myself on this one. I feel like I didn't really do too good of a job as far as the interior goes, given, you know, the layout of the train here. So I'll probably end up having to like work out this one a little more, seeing as how there's like no references to go by. I just kind of had to make this one up. So I mean, like there'd be like a desk here, and you know, people would be coming in and getting sorted, you know, getting their identification, their tickets punched, their luggage and stuff moved to their cabins down train. And yeah, that's fundamentally what I all got going here. So really, I guess the third car that I got done is really nothing special as far as detail goes. Now, this car here and the engine are a little bit something more interesting. Now, in order for this one to make a little bit more sense, I need to jump to the front here real quick. So, this is the connecting junction between the engine and this car. And this one here, well, the car that I got going on here, this would be kind of like the hospitality staff car. I mean, I kind of put the windows here along the sides here just to like make it brighter and more interesting to look out the windows. And this portion here is probably the closest thing that I have to being like a direct replication to what we see in the series. Although I still need to redo this chunk of the room. But kind of going through here, this would be like Melanie's hospitality like announcement office, where she flips on the mic, does her morning announcements, and all that good stuff. Got the clock, seat, the microphone. I still need to put some like filing cabinets and stuff all through here. I mean, on top of all that, I really feel like I got the whole two-tone brown color. And so I started putting together the interior of my Icebreaker project soon, like probably too early, like, because by the time I got this part of it done, I was already only into like episode 2 of the series, so there's a lot of stuff that I didn't know and that we haven't seen yet, so a lot of references I was going by weren't exactly correct, and there was a couple of things I just had to make up on my own. Like, seeing as how the hospitality office is there, I kind of filled the gap right here with like some office bathrooms, which probably doesn't really make any sense, seeing as how the hospitality staff and security would probably just go to their own little cabins, probably up-train between the engine, which is probably something I'm going to have to change there too, or maybe not. So yeah, so the bathrooms there just kind of fill into space, and this was going to be kind of like a congressional office, or I say Congress and congressional, but it's kind of more like just a big conference room, I think is probably what I'm wanting to call it, where the hospitality staff and the security probably would get together and discuss like the complaints of the passengers, things that need to be fixing, or maybe some changes to like their rules, seeing as how like I think the Folgers family in the series seem to be like total dicks a lot of times, complaining about everything, and Melanie just keeps getting aggravated about it. So yeah, this would be like the big like office, like meeting office table. You have like a dinette over here where you could probably have like some foods and stuff here if there's like a large meeting that goes on through the night, if not overnight. So yeah, that fundamentally does it for about this. And further on down this car, there's really nothing else special. Now, I was gonna like put like a bit of library or like files like in an office room right here, like cabinets filled with like archives and files and folders of information, like maybe about engineering stuff on the train, passenger information for the first class and all that stuff. But yeah, then going back down this way, that's the boarding terminal. So that about covers it for the top deck here, and there is a second deck to this car. Now this is going to take an entirely different aesthetic compared to what's up top, because when you take a look at this, it feels like we should be in an entirely different portion of the train. Now let me step back right here real quick. Now this car here, I took direct inspiration from one of the conceptual photos that somebody put together on that whole wilfordindustries.org or .com website that the series advertises, where you can like go to this website and they have like a whole layout of all the different cars of the train. And you too could also submit your own custom floor plan for a random car further on down train. And I remember like this being like one of the first to be seen in the list of cars of the train. And they call it like the machine room, and based on my understanding, it's kind of like a gigantic computer room, like a monitoring systems compartment, where basically all these computer monitors, screens, electrical dials, and gauges. That was almost a verb that tried to come up, excuse me. Yeah, buttons and levers and switches and gauges kind of monitor all of the main systems of the train. This would be kind of like HQ, one could say, headquarters, like the main control segment for all of the secondary vital systems of the train. Not maybe directly the engine, but electrical and doors and all that stuff further on. Granted, of course, for as long as the train is, being 1,001 cars and being 10 miles long, the train would probably have a handful of other like maintenance compartments further on down there, like 5, 10 or more down that way. So fundamentally, yeah, this is just a gigantic systems monitoring station. Lots of like exposed wires, tubes and stuff to kind of make it look like a lot of improvised technology and crap like that. So that fundamentally does it for basically the bottom half of the car, the hospitality office being up above. Now this portion might be a little bit more interesting, although this is also another custom layout that I had to put together. This is like the genuine mechanical engine room, like the actual mechanical engine. Because, you know, they say like that the area where the engineers in the series, where they all sit and where Melanie kind of goes back to every now and again, they say that's the engine room, but that's really just the operations deck, really. The actual mechanical engine, I would imagine, would be tucked away below them underneath the floor as its own separate compartment. But we're still yet to see that or even hear anything of it. So I just kind of had to make this whole portion up on my own. So I'm going to zip up to the very nose of the locomotive here. Now right here we would be in the plow of the train. This would be kind of like the whole razor split front end on the train. So basically we're at the very nose of the train. Now I was going to put something here being more of a reference or taking more inspiration from a quote directly said from the film, the 2014 Bong Joon-ho film with Chris Evans. Seeing as how, like, they say that the Snowpiercer train in the movie had these intake inlets in the nose of the train that basically injected or basically took the crunched up snow and ice that the train plowed through, sucked it up into the nose, and basically melted it into being water that went through a filtration system that would have been built here. Plumbing would go through here, like along here, and kind of pump through the actual engine itself to warm up the water, as they say, for other systems and plumbing and, you know, water resources down train. And as far as the actual engine goes, I kind of went with like a whole nuclear reactor-esque kind of aesthetic with the whole perpetual motion engine. Like, if Minecraft had more movement, these rods would be rotating like in a clockwise rotation, kind of indicate kind of like the giant cylinders that we saw in the film or the movie's version of the train. So yeah, you have like a big old round cylindrical engine that has like the rotating rods and stuff, kind of giving the whole illusion or the whole feel that it's a perpetual motion engine. So yeah, going along these catwalks here, these like red devices that are underneath here, these would be kind of like the electrical driving engines that power the wheels underneath the locomotive. There's one on each side that powers like the whole I think there's 6 train driving wheels down there. I was about to say training wheels. So yeah, there's one on each side. And then this being the primary perpetual engine that powers there's like an electrical connection here that goes to this other secondary engine that I kind of just decided to make up as being more of like a giant power generator. Like, this doesn't drive the train like that engine does, but this is more of a gigantic generator that takes power from the engine and converts it into electricity, which then powers all the vital systems further on down train. And I don't know, this being like an exhaust port that goes up to those exhaust on top of the train. And it kind of sounds like an actual train driving outside my window here. I don't know if you can hear it. So yeah, then, you know, more of the driving engines for the wheels, and that fundamentally does it for about as far as what the engine's got going for it. Still need to put, you know, probably more detail in it, but then again, it seems like it's pretty loaded with detail already, even though it's just kind of like a base model. This little compartment here would be like a maintenance office, you know, tool chests and boxes, or tools and spare parts and maintenance could be done to the engine on the move and all that. I mean, you know, a train can't stop anyway, so. Now let's see, where's that elevator? Going back up here, this would be like the hospitality office deck. Now we're like in the whole top deck of the engine. Now this compartment here was kind of like another little security room, security cameras, monitors and stuff. I was kind of going with the whole idea that this would be a holding cell for like any engineering staff that might go like mutiny or AWOL, or as someone would say. But really, I don't even think this segment exists in the floor plan of the engine in the actual Snowpiercer series, but I've felt that with this train that I built here being the Icebreaker, this could just be kind of like its own custom feature, seeing as how realistically my Icebreaker model is supposed to be completely different, well, somewhat different from the Snowpiercer in the series. So now going through here, this is supposed to resemble like that, is that a skeleton? Oh no, that's the fire campfires up top to get the smoke effect for the exhaust up above us. But so yeah, this hallway here is like the long hallway that we see Melanie kind of walking through as she's like going to the engineer's deck up there at the front of the train. And seeing as how this hallway seems to be like the hallway where the cabins for the engineers and private quarters would be, this would be like Melanie's like personal cabin that we see. Now, I feel like I got the floor plan reversed since I put this interior together way too early to see everything else inside the train. But the bed probably needs to be over here, and all this crap needs to be over here. The bathroom, on the other hand, seems to be where it needs to be. You know, being just like a small, tiny bathroom. And I was kind of putting like these iron bars and these stone walls here to kind of resemble like all the loose wire and stuff that she had hanging around. I probably need to have more of these like red blocks going around every corner of the room to resemble that red ribbon, which I guess a lot of people say is like a reference to the train's map, the route that it takes and all that stuff. So I mean, I tried to get it as, you know, get it closely resemblant to the series, even though it's like completely different. So stepping out here, we go further on down the hallway. It'd be like the main security door that Melanie would like scan. She gets in. You go around the corner, and then you have yourself the main driver's deck, the operations deck, as I would like to call it. whereas the series calls it just the engine room. So, I will say, I did mention before, like a while ago, that I made the actual locomotive longer. And whenever I did that, it kind of screwed up the interior of the operations deck that I had here, because I did have all the interior, like the computers, buttons, and switches, and monitors, and like electrical glowing things, and all that stuff, but it screwed that up, so I basically just kind of took all the detail and redid the inside here just to kind of clean it up. So, kind of sucks that I don't have that to show you, but fundamentally, the floor looks about right. You have the seats, and this would be like where the other monitors that kind of show the track conditions up ahead and can track avalanches, like Harvey. I think Harvey's his name. I think he's the Spanish dude. I can't remember what. I think it's Greg or Bennett or the other guy that's, basically Melanie's boyfriend, as one would say. And so then here would have like the main driver's seat. You'd have like a handful of other buttons, computer screens, and the main throttle lever. And yeah, it is interesting to know that the Snowpiercer in the series at least has throttle control. It's not just locked at one speed. Even though it can slow down and speed up, it still can't stop. But yeah, so then you have your window here. Man, it's already nighttime. Let me make that daytime. For probably as slim and as sharp looking as I made my Icebreaker, you can't even really see out the damn window unless you go to the side here. So yeah, that basically covers it as far as all the interior aspects of the Icebreaker goes. So the subject at hand being, where I'm at with the Icebreaker and how far along with the Snowpiercer series I am. I can't wait for the finale tonight. That's going to be something interesting to know or to see. And let's get our way out here real quick. Now, I guess in regards to the season finale, I guess now the question comes out as to what the hell's up with this little white car. Now, there's been some theories going around that the season finale might reveal to us that there might be a second train that's going to be included in season 2 of Snowpiercer. So, I guess it seems like that they're kind of have like role reversal, where it's actually the Snowpiercer that catches up with the Icebreaker, whereas the novel having it the other way around, where the Icebreaker catches up with the Snowpiercer. Or who knows? It may just be an entirely different train on its own, or it may not even happen. I don't know. We'll all figure it out tonight when the finale airs on TNT. But I basically just kind of slapped together this white car to set myself up in case the other train does happen. It's kind of making since the Icebreaker seems darker and the Snowpiercer always kind of looked like it was white or gray, I just kind of built this one here, just taking the template from this car here, copying it over, and then rechanging all the colors. And also, I'm probably going to use this car to set myself up to, excuse me, be able to build a handful, the idea that I have to include more interior cars up or down train, I should say. I'm beginning to stutter now. I'm just going to take this car and then use it to build the interior set of the cars that we do see in the series, like the first class dining hall, the Folger's cabin, second and third class dining halls, and the night car, the drawers room, and a couple of tailies. The tail cars. So basically, I'm just going to duplicate this one further over here, and then just have one car with one set, second car with another. Just basically have it in separate movie sets, as one would say. And then whenever I find out where they're located in the overall length of the train, I can just copy and paste them and just insert them into wherever they need to be, in reference to the train. So, as far as the Icebreaker topic goes and progress is concerned, that's about all I've really got going on here. So, now that I got that out of the way, now it's time to discuss the potential changes that I've been wanting to make to the channel here. I've been kind of thinking about for a while, so now I feel like would be a good time to talk to you about that real quick. Now, I'm going to jump over to another game to kind of discuss the changes at hand here that I have. Now, okay, so I did say that I've been kind of getting stuck up on other games and not having a lot of time with work, and I feel like what I need to show you here is one of the other games that I've come across that would probably spike some interest for those of you who like to build stuff in Minecraft and build vehicles of sorts. Now, as you can see here, I have myself what kind of looks to be like a cheap Titanic that's been built out of Legos. And rightfully so, it is kind of built out of Legos. And I got the game audios way too loud, so let me get up on the bow here. Maybe. Or let me just do this. Yay! Okay, so the game in particular that I'm on is a game called Trailmakers. It was recently added to PlayStation here just about a month ago, or 2 months ago. And quite essentially, it's literally a game that allows you to build vehicles of sorts, like boats, planes, trucks, trains, submarines, and amphibious vehicles, hovercraft, and stuff like that. Like, for example, let me... Okay, so yeah, all the different kinds of vehicles. I have like a whole collection of stuff that I built with over the weeks that I've been playing this game. And this is kind of like something to do with like the potential changes to the channel that I have in mind here. I mean, kind of being one of the reasons why I jumped to a whole other game. Ooh, engine stuff. So, I guess the only real change that I have for my channel that I have in mind is kind of branching out from Minecraft to other games, kind of like this. Because, you know, seeing as how in Minecraft I do build vehicles of sorts, you know, ships and, you know, yeah, they're there. I mean, I always just kind of had that itch for having a game that allows you to build vehicles that you can actually play with. And I guess while I am, sound effects, we'll turn that down. And music, will turn that down while I'm here. Okay, resume. So yeah, with this game, Trailmakers allowing you to be able to build vehicles, kind of like out of Legos. It's almost like brick rigs, but on PlayStation. Now, I guess if anyone wants to know real quick, there is a part limit on how big you can make stuff as to why this Titanic looks like it's kind of mini-scaled and it's kind of missing the mast and all that stuff. But yeah, this game essentially allows you to build anything, well, it kind of allows you to build anything you want as long as it's not ridiculously huge. Now, on the topic of like playing other games, like there are other stuff that I do, like World of Warships, Trailmakers here, and you know, Minecraft, Wreckfest, and I have like a whole collection of games that I have saved, and like video clips that I have saved of like shenanigans and funny moments with friends. Like, for example, take a look at this. What the fuck? Oh my god, physics explained that one. What the fuck did you do?
Help me! Jack!
Oh, just beat itself on it. It's gonna keep going. What the hell happened? I just flew out of the damn thing and it just goes. Oh god, I didn't need to cue the rolling seal meme where it's all like. Oh god.
Oh. Oh.
Oh, and your seat just went flying to space. Where'd you go?
I don't know. Oh, I'm underwater.
Oh, you're under the map now.
Oh.
I know, pretty funny, huh? Kind of dumb to see that a boat can do that in this game when shit doesn't go according to plan. So, yeah, honestly, I just kind of want to know, like, what you guys think. Like, would you kind of like to see me play other games or kind of see all the different stuff that I have saved? Because, like, you know, as I said, I'm kind of getting burned out on Minecraft, and I just kind of want to start doing some other things. And I do kind of think it's sad that I have, like, you know, hours upon hours worth of gameplay from other games that I've saved, but I've just never uploaded to YouTube, seeing as how my target audience, being you guys, you're, you know, more interested in the ships and stuff that I build on Minecraft. And like here, like, you know, like another example of a miniature ship build on Trailmakers, if I can get back up into the seat here. You know, it's not complete, but I was trying to put together like a mini model of what would kind of resemble my oceanic build. Granted, of course, it's pretty hefty and pretty high on the part count, but like, it just kind of gives you an idea. You can get away with building stuff that looks like a decent boat, and I mean, hell, you can even kind of like flip through cameras and go into first person here. I tried to make it to where you can kind of see out of it in first person, but it's pretty chunky and stuff, so yeah. I guess real quick, jump up. This is probably gonna break the game. So yeah, in essence, it's just, I guess now at the end of this video, I'm just asking you, would you like to see all the different stuff that I have in mind here? Because, you know, I got like World of Warships gameplay, World of Tanks, Wreckfest, Trailmakers, and shenanigans on GTA with friends and stuff, and all that good sorts. Uh-oh. Car. Oh yeah, and you can also transform from build to build whenever you have like presets like this. So, yeah. That essentially covers everything that I got in mind here. So, Snowpiercer, Icebreaker is all caught up, and now I'm just kind of suggesting, other gameplay features for my channel. Oop, that broke. Oh yeah, and you got crashing physics too. So that covers everything I've got in mind here. It seems like it's been a while, and just kind of see what you guys have to say about this idea here. So, I guess we'll see what happens on the Snowpiercer series, and just let me know if you want to see more stuff, and I'll see you around.